Hey yo, what up, what up, what up? It's Lamech with Live Sports TV. Coming back at you for another one. Quick one, quick one. We're gonna talk about the fight from yesterday. Uh what fight is that, Lamech? Well, we're talking about AJ Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. It gets kind of frustrating with boxing. It's something that we go through in boxing. So let's talk about it. I hear a lot of criticism of Anthony Joshua. Well, first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Anthony Joshua fought Jermaine Franklin yesterday. 12 round fight. Out of the 12 rounds, I scored about 9 of them for Anthony Joshua. Okay. Um, I had him winning by a landslide, right? Everybody had him winning by a landslide. Everybody had Anthony Joshua winning this card. Like, the fight was not close. It was not like the Jermaine Franklin versus Dillian White. It was not like that fight, right? It was nothing like that fight, right? AJ beat that guy from pillar to post, okay? So it's baffling to me how some fighters, take a Floyd Mayweather, a Devin Haney, right? A Lomachenko. Some fighters, it's okay for them to just batter a guy pillar to post and win about 9 rounds, you know, win the fight 9-3 and move on about their business. Why is that? It's okay for some of these guys to do that. But then with a guy like Anthony Joshua, it's like, he ain't the same no more. He ain't the same. Like, I want to see him throw combinations. I want to see this and I want to see that. And I want to see the knockouts and the spectacular and this and that. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's not about the sweet science anymore, right? It goes back to what I was saying in the other video. This guy takes so much unnecessary criticism. Like, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Like, now it's one thing if, say, he squeaks that victory out. Say he barely wins, right? Say he barely beats a Jermaine Franklin. Then I get the criticism. If Jermaine Franklin's walking in and walking him down and hooking off and dropping him and making the fight close, I get the criticism. Jermaine Franklin did nothing. He wasn't allowed to do anything. Was there some clinching? Yes. Lots of clinching. Yes. But I'm not even going to put that on AJ. AJ wasn't diving into the clinch, right? If a guy's if he's like, I don't know what you want him to do. If a guy he's first of all, he's that much shorter and he's diving even lower down to your midsection. The only thing you can do is clinch. Right? That's the only thing you can do at that point. So no, I don't it's not like AJ's out there fighting a negative fight, clinching. He didn't fight. It wasn't like Caleb Plant. He wasn't initiating the clinch. Jermaine Franklin was. Right? I saw so many times where Jermaine Franklin dives into the clinch and AJ's looking at the ref like, what you want me to do? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? This guy's diving down in my waist and grabbing me. I'm going to clinch him. It's either that or I'm going to get ragdolled. Right? So, I don't know, man. Like, people just look at, it's boxing, okay? We know how AJ used to fight. Right? We know AJ used to fight like a rock'em sock'em robot. We know that. But maybe he don't want to do that no more. Right? Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm not with that. I make too much money to do that. I'm not fighting. And how about this? I don't have to do that no more. I don't have to do that no more. How about I can dominate these fights boxing? Right? With all that said, Jermaine Franklin got a fucking jaw, bro. He got a chin, a beard, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Jermaine Franklin can take a punch. Because he took some punches. He took some punches in this fight. You know, he took some punches that other guys wouldn't have. Like Dillian White would have been out of there tonight. And Dillian White is my guy, okay? Dillian White is my guy, but Dillian White tonight would have been out of there taking some of those punches. Right? Jermaine Franklin, the man's got he got a chin. He does. You know, I wouldn't suggest any boxer take those types of shots from Anthony Joshua. But he was able to do it and get by, right? Yeah, sorry about the background noise there. But this is real life, right? So, I don't know, man. How do I feel about AJ's performance? I feel good about it. I honestly thought he fought well. Defensively, I would like him to work on that defensive, his like the way he gets out of trouble, it looks a little janky. And I'm saying trouble. He was never really in trouble, but you know what I mean, trouble. But like, he does a lot of straight backs, you know, and I cringe every time he did that shit. You know, moves straight back quite a few times. You know, no, he didn't get in there and sit in the pocket and throw three, four punch combinations. He didn't do that. You know who threw the most combinations tonight between these guys? Derrick James. Derrick James threw so many combinations in this fight, bro. Like, in between rounds, I love the way he coached Anthony Joshua. It seems like Anthony Joshua might be a visual guy, right? It seems like all the words, that might not resonate. And plus, he's Derrick James, he's American. He has a slang. He's American. Like Anthony Joshua, he don't know nothing about that shit. You know, Derrick James is not Robert McCracken. Let's just say that. But Derrick James is a much better coach than Rob McCracken. Because what matters is how you communicate with your fight. It doesn't really matter what you know. It's what can you impart on your fighter. And I really like the rapport that they had. Derrick James was throwing combinations. We know what he wanted, right? But it looks like it's going to take a little bit more time for Anthony Joshua to get comfortable, right? It's going to take more time. And no, I'm surprised nobody, brought this up. A boxer's trainer is very important. A boxer's trainer is almost like part of his family. You know, it's almost like his dad or his a big brother or something. You know, a boxer's trainer is very important to him. So changing your trainer, especially Rob McCracken, who basically kind of took AJ, from a boy, right, to a man, to, gold medals and all that. Like, I'm sure Robert McCracken meant a lot to Anthony Joshua. You know, at the same time, it was time. It was time to switch that up. You know, I don't understand the Robert Garcia move. Yeah, and I like Robert Garcia as a trainer, but not for AJ and not for a heavyweight, period, But it just seems like a lot of the leeway that we give other fighters, we always understand these things when it comes to other fighters. But when it comes to AJ, it's like the standard gets raised so incredibly high. The standard gets raised so incredibly high, like unrealistically high. And hey, people that know me, they know I'm always one that wants to raise standards. I'm never for a lower standard. So yeah, fine, raise the standard. But you got to raise that standard for everybody. You got to raise the standard for everybody. You can't just you can't raise the standard for one guy, but then excuse everyone else for the same shit. The guy went out there, dominated Jermaine Franklin, and won. You know, I would like to see him get a little bit more meaner, a little bit more loose in there. Like, know what to do when a guy starts talking shit. Like, mean streak. I need you to, like, fuck all that trying to be the nice guy shit. You know, fuck, you're a fighter. You can be the nice guy afterward. In the ring, be nasty, man. So when early in that fight, when Jermaine Franklin was like taunting him and talking shit, making faces, I'm like, yeah. Maybe this is going to be the thing, because that's how I would look at it. Hey, maybe it's good that he didn't. Maybe he would have gassed out had he done that. You know, that's another thing that Anthony Joshua. I don't know what they're doing in Texas, but whatever they're doing, it's working, because this guy didn't come close to gassing out one time in this fight. If he could have had this tank against Usyk, he beats Usyk. Because unlike Jermaine Franklin, Usyk couldn't even hurt him. He can't come close to hurting Anthony Joshua. He can score some punches, but I think in this fight, Joshua was wary of Jermaine Franklin's power, right? So, still a work in progress, you know, for AJ. I don't think he's all the way back yet. You know, I don't know if we should expect his quote unquote all the way back to look like what it looked like before. You know, I don't know if we should expect him to fight like a rock'em sock'em robot, right? I don't know if we should expect that. As you can see what I got going on here, right? But hey, life happens, you know? Don't even ask. Anyway, I like the fight. Did not like the card so much. I thought the card was hit or miss. It's like hit and miss. It's like there was some good fights, but even some of the good fights had some like terrible stoppages, right? Had some terrible stoppages. So, here's another thing that I saw. I'm just, I'm freestyling here. So here's another thing that I saw in this fight. AJ, his hand speed wasn't quite where it was before. He used to have some really, really fast hands. And I guess that comes with the combination. But when you decide that you're not going to throw a lot of combinations in the pocket, I guess you don't have to have that kind of head speed, you know? And we know he came in heavy for this fight. So, I don't know. I thought he looked good. I thought it was a good fight. I like the fact that he came in bigger, but it wasn't like he didn't look like an action figure. You know, he wasn't like super overly muscular. He was bigger. Like he's probably down there eating barbecue and shit like that, but he's not putting on too much muscle. And that's why he was able to finish this fight strong. You know, he was still there in the 12th round trying to get that guy out of there. So, hey, props to Anthony Joshua. I won't say that he's quite put the division on notice, but he can beat these guys. He'll beat a Hrgovic. He'll beat a lot of these guys, right? He'll beat a lot of these guys. You know, once he realizes that he can take a shot. Like something happened where he doesn't have faith in his chin. You know, we see it. So once that'll be one of the things. Once he gets that back, if he can get it back, then we'll see how high he can fly. Right? So that's all I got, man. I like the fight. It was a good fight. If you like the video, go ahead and throw that uppercut. Just like this one right here. Throw that uppercut to the like button. Peace.